Permítanos presentarnos.
Somos del Grupo Ses que consiste en Tyari Octhalia, Saskia Putri, y Rahma Lidiyanti.
Somos de la clase A1 en este video presentaremos un talk show
con los temas de comunicación intercultural y comunicación no verbal de España.
Comencemos el video.
Good morning everyone and welcome to the Teracha show. We trust you to join us today for what promises to be an interesting and enlightening dialogue. Today we're going to have a great show with some special guests who are students who have gone on visiting to Spain on the hot topic of intercultural communication and non-verbal communication of Spain. Alright, for the first guest, we have one of the outstanding students who has done a student's exchange to Spain for 1 year at the young age of only 20 years old. Please welcome Ms. Rahma Lidiyanti. For the next guest, we have a student who managed to get a full scholarship to continue her education in Spain for 3 years, which is one of her dreams to be able to study abroad. Please welcome Ms. Chairani. Alright, before we start the video, I would like to give you a brief introduction about Spanish culture. The first is language. The official language in Spain is Spanish or Castilian. However, there are several other regional languages that are also spoken, such as Catalan, Basque, and Galician. And the second is religion. The majority of Spaniards follow the Roman Catholic religion. However, the Spanish constitution guarantees freedom of religion. And the third is food. Spanish food is generally known for tapas or small dishes, paella, rice with meat, seafood and meat, German, serrano ham, and various dairy and cheese dishes. And fourth is art. In Spain is influenced by various cultures, including Roman, Islamic, Christian. Famous art from Spain includes painting by Pablo Picasso and Jean Giraud and Gaudí's architecture such as the Sagrada Familia. And next is music and dance. Spanish music and dance include flamenco, salsa, and rumba, traditional. And musical instruments include the Spanish guitar and castanets and tambourines. And next is sports. Popular sports in Spain include soccer, basketball, tennis, badminton, and bicycle racing. The world's elite soccer clubs such as Real Madrid and Barcelona are from Spain. I think that's all from the overview of the Spanish culture, and we move to the interview. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we move to the interview session. So today we have two guests that student exchange in Spain. And I would like to say thank you to our guests today, Mrs. Chairani, Saskia, Putri, and Ms. Rahma Lidiyanti. So we move to the interview session, and I would like to ask some question that is about the culture in Spain. So we start, and I would like to ask question for Chairani, Saskia, Putri. And for the first question, from what you have observed during your time in Spain, what attitudes do Spaniards have towards other people?
Thank you for the question first. Actually, they're usually polite and have a good greeting to their family members, especially. Like for example, in Spanish children, they are taught to always use polite or formal greeting to their families. Use don or dona. And family are very strong in Spain. Parents are elderly often spend time with their families. So in Spain, they usually spend more time with their family members. And Spanish children traditionally take care of their elderly and especially parents. Like placing elderly family member in nursing homes is not very common in Spain. And I think the last is Spain society as a whole is quite tolerant in patient with the elderly, for example, by giving them a seat on public transportation. So in general, respect and care for elders are strong in Spanish culture.
Alright, good answers. So their relationships are still strong, and they're still formal, from and to their parents, right? Thank you. And for the second question, I would like to ask Lidiyanti. And how would you describe the attitude of young Spanish people develop towards traditions and culture?
Okay, next question, and this is I would like to answer this of my experience. So, young Spanish people today generally have a positive yet evolving attitude towards long-standing Spanish tradition and culture. They value and seek to preserve historic and cultural tradition like flamenco, dancing, and bullfighting, tomato festival, Las Fallas festival, siesta time, and etc. However, their participation can be selective and interpreted in modern ways, and young Spaniards balance both preserving and evolving certain aspect of tradition. For example, they may wear modernist flamenco dresses rather than fully historical version. They help keep tradition alive but adapt their style and format to fit contemporary lifestyles. And then attitudes can vary between embracing the traditional family-centered culture versus increasingly individualistic mindset of younger generation in urban areas. Yet family bonds remains important in most Spaniard families. And Spanish growing multiculturalism also means young people are open to incorporating both Spanish tradition and new cultural influence in everyday life, like food, music, and art. Tradition evolve with Spanish identity rather than remaining different.
Alright, thank you for the answer. So their traditions is strong, right? And their music making move to the with modern era, right? Alright, thank you for the answer. And for the next question, for Chairani, this is Tyari. And from your experience, what is the common aim of Spanish towards foreigners visiting or moving to Spanish?
Okay, talk based on my experience. Actually, Spanish people are generally friendly to and open to foreigners visiting to their country. Like when I come to Spain, they're very happy with me to know the place in there. But I don't have friends there, and when I meet someone in there, they're really they help me, really help me to understand a public place in there and several places that I want to go there. And Spanish is known as a warm and friendly country, and they like to smile and say hello even to people they just meet. And this makes foreigners feel welcome to Spanish people. In other places such as a small town or village, although it is rare to meet foreigners, the local or area still welcoming and willing to help others. So this habit can distill the notion that most European countries are individualistic.
So is it the same in the Indonesia that Spanish people are sometimes friendly with the Indonesian people?
Yeah. Like in Indonesia, they're really welcome to other people, like foreigners. In Indonesia, we also help, even though we didn't say in English or actually in their language, but we also can help them to find out workplace or something that they need to do. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. And next questions for the Lidiyanti. And question is what perceptions do foreigners typically have about Spanish culture and people?
Okay, before we move or go to the other country, we usually have some negative perception about the country. So for the Spanish country, some negative perception are Spanish people tend to be loud, emotional, and dramatic. They like to shout and make loud expression when talking to each other. And culture and traditions such as bullfighting are considered cruel and inhuman by many foreigners. And Spanish people are seen as losers and like to take naps. Long lunch hours are also considered waste of time and it's more unproductive. And the bureaucracy and government system in Spain is convoluted, corrupt, and inefficient in the eyes of foreigners. Spanish people also consider undisciplined and often late. Appointments are often out of time. The high unemployment rate in Spain makes foreigners think Spaniards like perseverance and hard work. And some areas of Spain are seen as shady, dirty, and full of rubbish, littering the street. And I think not all of these stereotypes are true, but these are some the negative perception that some foreigners still have about Spain, but we must experience it there, so we also can consider is it true or not.
Yeah, I think I agree with you that some place that in Spain is dirty. I mentioned some movies that, yeah, in the world, especially in the world place, yeah, it's so dirty. Alright, for the next question, I would like to ask Mrs. Chairani Saskia Putri. And for the question is, how is the stereotype in Spain towards men and women?
We now talk about stereotypes of men and women. Based on my experience when I come to Spain, there are several stereotypes that I've heard. For the first is about men in Spanish. They have a stereotype macho. It's like others. Yeah, they show their muscle. Next is for me, it's when a young man sees a young woman. Like in Indonesia, it sounds like Putri. Yeah, you know, it's plural in Indonesia. And the next is temperament and extravagant. For a woman, they have a beautiful and questionable face station in there, and also they have loyal and loving. It seems as a wife and mother who is decided to the family. But these stereotypes certainly don't apply to all the Spaniards. They just an overgeneralization of certain gender characteristics that are popular in society. And even many modern Spaniards today do not exhibit to this stereotype.
Alright, thank you for the answers. And next we move to the next question for Mrs. Rahma. And the question is, what are some common stereotypes about Spanish people? Do you think they currently reflect reality?
Okay, we talk about the language and accent in Spain. So, Spanish accent sounds rough and dirty, but this is especially the Castilian Spanish variant can seem harsh and unrefined to some foreigners, and also to many swear words and curses in Spanish. But this is dividedly from polite formal language. And also it is difficult to learn Spanish language because Spanish is divided into several areas or regions. So there are some different language in Spanish. There are some variation in Spanish. And also Spanish people are too lazy to speak in English. So based on my experience, very rare to meet people speak English in Spanish. And then while there is some truth to this, the language stereotype in Spain is often exaggerated and overlooks the variety and richness of the Spain language itself.
So for the every accent that have different, some varieties and some are not. Okay, thank you for the answers. And for the next question is for Mrs. Tyari, Mrs. Putri. And the question is, what were some of the biggest culture shock you experienced when you first moved to Spain, and how did you deal with them?
Okay, talk about culture shock. Because I'm from Indonesia and moved to Spain, there are several culture shock I found when I moved there. For the first is about meal times. Lunch is the biggest meal in Spain, and it can last 2 until 3 hours, which is very different from the short lunch breaks. And for a dinner also start much later, sometimes not until 10 or 9 p.m. This eating schedule can take a lot of adjustment. For the next is sense of time or punctuality. Spaniards generally have more relaxed attitude toward time and punctuality. Meeting and appointments often start later than scheduled. As an outsider, it can be frustrating. Trying to adapt to this more understandable. For the next culture shock, it is noisy and livelessness. Spanish culture tends to be more lively and maybe in other cultures, the frequent noise from traffic, construction, or loud conversation can overwhelm at first. The next is greeting custom. The element of physical contact like a kissing on cheek or hug, especially with the members of the opposite sex, can be awkward for some foreigners like us in Indonesia. It's not common we call in Indonesia. So when we move to Spain, they're really common there. It's one of my biggest culture shock.
Even if they are not in relationship.
Yeah. Maybe they just friended, it's just, And the last thing is emotional expressiveness. Spaniards tend to be more outwardly expressive, both in positive and negative emotion. Their lively and passionate communication style can seem like danger initially. And ways to deal with culture shock include becoming informed about Spanish custom beforehand, immersing myself into daily life there, making local friends to support me, being patient with myself, and trying to observe first before reacting. Maintaining cultural sensitivity goes a long way when adjustment to a new country.
Alright, maybe I would like to ask, as a student's exchange to Spain, right? Have you ever culture shock education? Like the subject is maybe hard, or the professor or their teacher is tend to more formality or something. Have you ever?
In Spain, they're not really formal. Like in Indonesian, really, we really formal in education. But in Spain, it's not really formal. But we have also need to have attitude with us for our lecturing there.
There are some rules in there, so you must follow it.
Thank you for the answers, Chairani. And for the next question to Mrs. Rahma Lidiyanti. The question is, what type of body language and gestures do Spaniards typically use when having a conversation?
Okay, to the body language. So Spaniards tends to be very lively, expressive, and animated when conversing, using a lot of body language and hand gestures. Some common Spanish gestures include hand and arms gesture. Spaniards often use broad sweeping motion with their arms and hands when speaking to emphasize or describe whatever it is they are talking about. And then bringing fingerprint to lips. When expressing surprise, shock, or disbelief about the story being told, a Spaniard will frequently bring fingertips or the flat back side of the hand on the lips. And then finger pointing, using fingers to point at object or people being described or referred to in the conversation is very common. This can be construed as rude or aggressive in some other cultures. And then open palm emphasis. Rotating one or both palms facing up or down is often used when stating a fact or a statistic, equivalent to saying clearly this is the case or obviously this is true. And then in Spanish we also have tilting one's head to the right or left is common when conveying doubts, impulsiveness, when impressed or very interested in what the other person is saying.
Thank you for the answers. Alright, I think that's all for the interview session today. Thank you so much for our guests, Mrs. Rahma Lidiyanti and Mrs. Saskia. And yeah, we move to the house sessions, and I think that's all from Teracha show today. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope you can get some benefit from our show, talk show. And yeah, thank you so much. And goodbye.
Bye.
See you next.
See you next time, Teracha show.
Audio Jungle.